All right, today we are talking about point slope form. Point slope form is the second form in which we can write a linear equation. You don't have this first sheet right here, so you're just paying attention to me and understanding where point slope form comes from so that you'll have a high chance of remembering the formula. So point slope form is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, as I was saying, that the slope, y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. This looks very much like what? The slope formula. The slope formula is equal, well, the slope formula is m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to transform the slope formula. Let's go to the ocean. Yay, the ocean, the ocean. The ocean needs to gain a little weight. Put some weight on this ocean. All right, so what I'm going to do, still kind of small. I am going to transform the slope formula to look like point slope form. So if I have m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, I can simply make this look like this right here by multiplying both sides by x sub 2 minus x sub 1 to get them off the bottom. Again, you don't have this right now. I'm just showing you where this comes from. X sub 2 minus x sub 1. So now if I were to rewrite this, this looks like, if I start with this side, this cancels out. This looks like y sub 2 minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x sub 2 minus x sub 1. This is something you need to know. Let me point this out. When I'm making a video, it is not so that you can just write what's on the board, on the screen. It is so that you learn. So when I gave that test the last time, I was kind of shocked that so many people didn't know what Hoy and Vux was. I was really surprised, and I'm just like, they clearly did not get that from the video. So if I were you, I would star some things. This is something you don't need to know. I mean, something that I'm not requiring you to know. I'm just showing you where the slope, point slope form comes from. But the only thing that point slope form does, it says, I don't want 2 points. I just want to deal with 1 point. So it takes away the y sub 2 and the x sub 2 and just make them y, such as this, minus y sub 1 times m times x, such as this, minus x sub 1. That's what it does. And that's what a point slope form comes from. You're just having a point, hence the name, point, and the slope. Slope-intercept form is called slope-intercept form because it deals with the slope and the y-intercept. All right, so some people just like, I gotta remember that. Yeah, I mean, you already know it. Okay, so let's deal with point slope form. Point slope form is y minus y sub 1, where the y point is your y value of an ordered pair, and then is equal to m, which is your slope, times x minus x sub 1, which is your x value of the ordered pair. Okay, that's where the formula comes from. There are 3 things you need to know: the slope, and then the x and y coordinate of your point. So that's where point slope comes from. That's how we use it. It is useful at times. You'll see later on in the lesson how it can be used. But let's make something clear. The black here is a part of the formula. So notice that the y sub 1 is just the number. The m here and the x sub 1. Notice the negative sign is not assigned to the x sub 1, and the negative sign is not assigned to the y sub 1. That is very important for you to know. So when I look at this first problem right here, and I see y minus 5 is equal to 3 times x minus 5, notice I kept them blue. That's blue. That's blue. Kept that red. Kept that red. Kept that blue. Kept that blue, for the purpose of you making the connection. So if I ask you, what is the point, because this is what it's asking, what is the point in the slope that was used? The point that was used was 5, not negative 5. Remember, the negative sign goes with the formula. So we're just looking at the y sub 1. 5, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong point. This is my x. Don't make that mistake. It just looked up that both of them are 5s. So my x coordinate is right here, and I'm just looking at the 5. My y coordinate is right here. I'm just looking at the 5. And then the slope that was used was 3. How did I get that? I saw that the y sub 1 is my point. So that number is 5. Start with x, Mr. O'Neill. Get your life together. I saw that the x sub 1 was my x coordinate. That number is 5. I saw that the y sub 1 was my y coordinate. That number is 5. And I see that my slope is 3. So let's look at the next one. Okay, so notice that this is x plus 4. My formula has a negative sign. How can a negative sign turn into a positive? Well, you either multiply by a negative or you subtract a negative. So, in essence, this problem originated, don't write this down because there's no room, but this problem originally looked like this. Y minus 8 is equal to 2 times x minus negative 4. That is the only way that I can get this number to be positive if I'm subtracting. That this original number had to be negative. Okay? So if I see an addition sign in this equation, then my original number had to be negative. So now when I bring out my ordered pair, I see that the 4 is there. That's a positive 4, which means that the original 4 had to be negative. That's a positive 8. Remember, we're not looking at the sign. We're just looking at the number, and my slope had to be 2. All right, let's look at the next one. So here, if I look at my x value is, again, a positive 4. So the only way that I can end up with a positive 4 is that my 4 had to be negative. I'm going to do this again because I just have a feeling somebody's just like, how? I don't get that. And you're not rewinding the video. All right, and then my y here is positive. The only way to end up with a positive 7 is that it originally was negative. And then my slope is negative 2. Okay? So again, if my formula is y minus y sub 1, don't write this, is equal to m times x minus x sub 1, and I have a y plus 7, this had to look like this. Y minus negative 7 is equal to, and that's a negative 2, times x, and this is a positive 4, x minus negative 4. Because this negative sign is a part of the formula. It is not assigned to the number. Again, that negative sign is not assigned to the number. So this becomes that, and that becomes that. And that is how I ended up with positive numbers. All right, we're going to do one more, and then you're going to do the other ones on your own. It's going to be a part of your homework tonight. So we're going to look in the middle. So I noticed that this is missing a parentheses. So don't write this down. If I'm missing a parentheses and I'm supposed to have one, y plus 4, then I can rewrite this. Well, actually do write this down because there's enough room. I can rewrite this as 4 times x. What is going to give me, what is the only number that I can subtract that's not going to change the value of this? Okay, 0. But math competent people know that why would I subtract out 0? It's understood to be there, right? So when I look at my x value had to be 0. Okay? Because that's the only way that I can end up with this mathematically, understanding that an x value had to be there. I can't say, oh, there's no x value. No, there's an x value because this is called point slope form. I need a point and a slope. And then my y value is a positive, so I know it had to end up being a negative. I must like 4s. All these y's, these positive 4s. And then the slope had to be 4 because the slope is what I'm multiplying my x and my x coordinate, my x variable and my x coordinate by. All right, so this is homework and this is homework. All right. And I think I said, yeah, I'm going to say this in class. The key is going to be online. You just need to make sure you know how to do it yourself. Don't cheat yourself out of your education. Please don't do that. We're at 9 minutes. All right. So example 1, it says write an equation in point slope form of a line that passes through 4, 3 and has a slope of 2. Y'all, this is so simple. All I'm doing is plugging in my point and my slope in the original place. So if you don't, well, yeah, just write this down. If my point is 4, 3 and my slope is 2, then this is my x sub 1. This is my y sub 1. Okay? That's where the point comes from. So if I plug them into my equation, then it's y minus my y coordinate of 3 is equal to my slope of 2 times my x minus my x coordinate of 4. That would be the equation. Okay, then I come down here and do the same thing. If my ordered pair is 3, -2, and my slope is 5, then this is my x sub 1, this is my y sub 1. Oh, I got my pen back, y'all. Can y'all tell? My handwriting is a lot better. You know, still needs a little work, but whatever. So I have my y minus my y coordinate of -2, which means I'm going to do what? I'm going to add these together.
Good afternoon, staff.
Pause this again. All right, I'm back. And so we get y plus 2 is equal to, my slope is 5, times my x minus 3. Okay, and if I was given this in the beginning, then I know that, again, the y coordinate would be -2, because that's positive. My x coordinate would be a positive 3, and my slope would be 5. All right, okay, and then we'll do the next one. If my point is 4, -1, and then my slope is -3, right? 4, -1, my slope is -3. This is my x sub 1, this is my y sub 1. So my y minus -1, which means I'm adding those together. Y plus 1 is equal to -3 times x minus my x sub 1 value, which is 4. All right, so this is homework. That's what you're doing for homework. And now we're going to graph. So I want to make these graphs larger than this. Okay, so it says graph the equation y plus 2 is equal to 2/3 times x minus 3. Well, this is point slope form. So what do I need from here? I need the point. So my point, my x point would be 3, because it's x minus 3. My y coordinate, if that was a positive 2, that means it had to start off with a -2. And my slope is, because I'm running out of room, my slope is 2/3. So point slope form. So graph the point. 1, 2, 3, -2. Point. And now graph the slope. Up 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3. Down 2 to the left, 1, 2, 3. And then I have my line. Y'all, as simple as that. It doesn't get any, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's really simple. Point, slope, form. Find the point, find the slope. There you go. All right, here we go with this one. So what would be my point? Well, my x is a positive 1, which means it had to be -1 in the beginning. And then my y is 1, because it's 1 there. And then the slope is 3/4. So I graph -1, -1, 1. And my slope is 3/4, which means I go down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go back to the original point and go up 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I just draw the line. For the next one, my point would be 5, and then my y would be a -1, and then my slope would be 2. We start at 5, -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, 1. And then my slope is 2. So that means I go up 2, put this 2 over 1. Up 2 to the right, 1. Down 2 to the left, 1. And there's my line. All right, so this is homework. This video might be less than 20 minutes long. Look at me. Homework. All right, now we're at these problems. It says write an equation in point slope form of the line shown. Use the right hand point to write the equation. Use the right hand point. So the right hand point, all my wonderful people, this is your left. This is your left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. This is your right. So I'm using the right hand point. What is this point? What is this called again? Point slope form. So what do I need? I need a point. Duh, got that. There it is. But I need the slope. So let's find the slope of the line. Rise up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So the slope is 3. So point would be, the right point would be 2, 4. The slope would be 3. So point slope form would do y minus my y sub 1, which would be 4, is equal to, does it look like an equal sign, is equal to my slope of 3 times x minus 2, which is my x sub 1. There it is. There's the equation. We got it. So over here, it says use the right-hand point. The right-hand point will be, this will be your left, right, left, right, left, right. So this is 1, 1. So what do I need from here? I need the slope. So some of y'all will go down 2 to the right 2, or some of y'all will go down 1 to the left 1. Either way, my slope is -1. Let me put it over here, somewhere around the room at the bottom. And then my point is 1, 1. So I have y, you were supposed to do this for homework. Well, I guess I'm doing it for you. Y minus, what's my y coordinate? 1 is equal to, my slope is -1. Math competent people know that I could just put a negative sign out there. And then x minus 1. Okay? And that will be that. One more. Look at me, just rushing through this. I'm not rushing through it because y'all getting it. All right, so it says write an equation of the line that passes through the point -2, 3 and 1, -3. Use the first point to write the equation. Well, this is called point slope form. Point slope form. What are you missing? You're missing the slope, because clearly you have 2 points and they told us to use the first point. So you're missing the slope. So we need to find the slope of the line. So we have -3 minus 3 over 1 minus -2. Hey. No. All right, so -3 minus 3 over 1 minus -2. So we add those together and we get a -6 over 3, which reduces to a -2. So now we have the point, -2, 3, and the slope of -2. Then in point slope form, we have y minus 3 is equal to -2 times x plus 2, because that will be subtracting. Now, y'all, this is point slope form. Now, if we want to, you know how we use the 5-step rule? We can use point slope form to write the equation of the line in slope intercept form. And don't write this down. I'm just going to show you something extra because you're doing the next one on your own. If I want to turn this in slope intercept form instead of using the 5-step rule, some people think that the point slope form is easier. I agree. So you distribute this, you get -2x minus 4, and then simply come over here and add 3. And you get y is equal to a -2x minus 1. And that would be the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So notice there's no 5 steps here. You just put it in point-slope form and then convert it into slope-intercept form. Some people will prefer that over the 5-step rule. I think it's easier, especially when we have integers. All right, then you know what you're doing with this one right here. This is homework. All right, it's been a blessing to be with you today. Let's do this. This is Mr. O'Neal, another Beast Mode production, and we out.